welcome, welcome, welcome back to another episode of my Seattle Mariners franchise here on MLB The Show 25. But we're going to record our finale here. Just going to do a year 9 sim and, just kind of keep it moving for year 9. It's just what year is this? It has been a minute, obviously, since I've recorded. Y'all have not seen an episode in this series in a while, and now I am, for whatever reason, drawing a blank. This is going to be year 8. I think this is going to be the finale here. Obviously, we have built an absolute juggernaut. We've won a ton of World Series here, 5 of them, in fact, in this series. And have simmed the past couple of seasons, and we just continue to win, right? And so I think it's time to put this one to rest. It's been a blast. And I've had a lot of fun with it, and we're certainly going with a more challenging franchise and on MLB The Show 26 as it is coming out. But wanted to kind of just put a bow on this. So we're finishing up the 2031 season here where we beat the Diamondbacks in the World Series. And we fell behind 3-0 in the series. Got to see a big moment as Otto Lopez hit a gigantic home run. I believe it was, it's been a minute since I've recorded. I believe it was Game 6. In a do-or-die spot, yes, and he ended up tying the game up in the 9th inning, and then we ended up winning the game in extras, thanks to a Kobe Mayo home run. Then end up kind of easily winning Game 7 here to win our 3rd straight World Series. So having already gone, back-to-back here. In the series prior to this, we have now won 5, and I think this is a good year to end it off, the year at least that we're about to go into, because it's one that's going to come with a lot of change in this rotation. We're going to get to see a lot of guys that we have built up. We've obviously had a lot of kind of weird regression this year. You're at the point where when I'm playing more consistently, I can kind of go in and take care of ratings and stuff as they start to drop off. But see, like George Kirby had a really solid season. I mean, a 3.26 ERA, went 12-11, and dropped a ton of attributes to me for no real reason. I don't exactly understand it. I mean, the FIP was not great, but he dropped pretty heavily. But then, like, Bryce Miller doesn't really drop. Like, it's just kind of weird, but I don't know if it's because Kirby's got that extra year of MLB service, if that's kind of messing things up or not. But we got guys that, his contract are ending. So Christian Javier will be gone. Brian Woo's contract is up. Plan on just letting him go. We got Kirby for 1 more year. And we signed Bryce Miller to an extension this past year to kind of just hang him on here for the last season. Got to replace Bryce Harper, who came in a DH for us and was really good yet again. Probably going to let him just ride off into the sunset, thinking he probably just retires. Let's see. Got Kobe locked up. Cole Young was a disappointment here in year 3. Really fell apart. Obviously, we gave him the pretty big contract extension there in year 2 when he was fantastic for us. But, hopefully he bounces back. Got Duran is going to be a free agent. He has had a lot of regression. Has had 2 back-to-back years after being phenomenal that first year with us when we won the first of this trio of World Series when we were actually still playing the games. Julio is still obviously going to be around. Lars Nootbaar still has 1 year left on his contract. Has had 2 back-to-back pretty solid bounce-back campaigns after a little bit of a weaker second year here with us. But the big thing is going to be this rotation. I think you're going to see some new faces. Eddie Matos has been a guy that's worked out of the bullpen for us and has looked pretty good. I think heading into his age 24 season, he's going to be ready to take the reins. Martin Diaz worked out of the bullpen for us this year and was outstanding. I think he's ready for that. George Giordano got a little cup of coffee and was really good for us. And I think just letting some of these youthful guys, that we have kind of developed jump into the rotation here for the final year, I think is kind of a really cool thing. So we got to replace 3 coaches. We'll see. Take a quick look, see who may be retired here. Walker Buehler, Grant Holmes. Let's see. Reynaldo Lopez what did he end up getting down to? A 70 overall. Trevor Story, yeah, down to a 59 overall. I figured he was going to be a pretty significant drop off there. Harrison Bader, Josh Bell, Jose Barrios, Kevin Biggio still hanging around. Kind of shocked he's still here at this point. Has not played a single game at the major league level here in this series. Paul Blackburn is gone. Not really anybody that looks like they're going to be Hall of Famers, if we're being honest. It always could be somebody that pops a little bit farther down. Nolas Garcia. Surprisingly, Bryce Harper did not. Yeah, Bryce Harper did not retire, okay. Trevor McGill, Ryan McMahon, Aaron Nola, Bailey Ober, Chris Paddock, Christian Pache, Jerkson Profar, excuse me. All right. Nick Senzel. Eugenio. Cannot believe Eugenio is still playing. 40 years old at this point. Has not played in a couple of years at the major league level. Gary Sanchez. Zach Veen. Okay. Down to a 35 overall. Wow. Okay. He's done nothing but regress this entire series pretty much. Christian Yelich. Does Yelich get into the Hall of Fame? Hadn't played in a couple of years here. Probably not going to make it. Yelich, one of the best, outfielders of his generation in real life. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, though. All right, let's see. No inductees, no real surprises, though, coming from that. So we need a hitting coach. Right. Anytime something like drag bunting is what your weakness is, I am down for that. We're going to offer him a ton of money to try to bring him in. I need pitching coach and a third base coach. Okay. Yep. Go with this guy, or at least try to anyway. We got money to spend, obviously. I don't think it's going to be one we get overly expensive in free agency and stuff, because I want to use a lot of these younger guys. Yeah, I'm pretty much down for this. Try to bring all those guys in. Do we want to offer anybody a contract here? I think Lodolo had a lot of regression. And again, another guy that, because the MLB service, kind of mixed with the age, really dropped heavily despite having at least on the face, a pretty solid season. Obviously, the FIP here is not great, but that's a pretty dramatic drop-off for him. Emerson Hancock. We ended up pitching 5 games this year. Okay. Hancock at 32. I think we're just going to end up bypassing that. Useda here is 34. Griffin Jacks 37. Probably have to re-look at this bullpen here for sure, but I think we're going to let everybody ride. Okay. I need a hitting coach still. It's crazy. I don't know how much money I offered that guy. Another guy that's an A that only negative is drag bunting. Okay. All right, so we got our coaches. Nope, we're good. See what free agency looks like here. Oh, we got to do all the tender and contracts. Oh, again, this is, I bring it up, especially it's been coming up a lot because of, just simply because of the fact that, we've been just kind of doing these full episodes like this. This is a really annoying trait that we have. Like this, I don't know why there's not just a renewed contract all button or something. You just really easily do it, but having to sit here and click through every single one. Or like, why can I not just sign some of these low-level minor league guys to, lower-end contracts? I don't know. It's really annoying. yeah, definitely excited for MLB The Show 26. They have not dropped like any. Trying to think of what I want to say. They have not dropped like any real franchise information or anything, at least that I've seen. And I think I'm pretty dialed into what they've dropped. Some of the gameplay stuff and everything looks good, but it's stuff that really doesn't overly pertain, like, to me in the way I play, like a lot of the ambush hitting and, the bear down pitching. I don't really know how much that's going to affect, when I'm just a classic timing, a classic pitcher and a timing hitter. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that's really going to affect how I play as much. I think a lot of the changing in the attributes of, fielding and stuff, I think is really good. I think it's great. I think it's something that I think should have probably already been here. Now that I've seen it, I guess, I think it's something that probably should have already been in. But it's not really something I think that you need until you see it. I've seen some things too where like guys will have attributes above like 100 to start off with. Like I think Judge has more than 100 power. The thing that I've always worried about is I want to say that there was a couple of times like maybe a Mike Trout or somebody has had that north of 100 attribute for anything. And then all it does as soon as you start playing is immediately drops. It just immediately starts decreasing, and then it decreases that player's overall and everything. And that effect seems to just kind of snowball. So if that is the case, and I didn't mislook at that or misunderstand that and think that it was just a Diamond Dynasty thing, I certainly hope that is something that they just don't fix. Because I do think that this game in general does a really nice job of using the entire scale that we already have. So I think there is some room for, hey, maybe guys do need to occasionally get to that north of 100 attribute, but it needs to be like some kind of special situation, I guess. Or maybe if the base game is going to have somebody like Judge with north of 100 power, then maybe at least has a stay on there of, hey, this is not going to drop the entire first year or something. I think would be a fairly cool thing to make up, for that. And then is anybody going to be able to progress to that? Like, I doubt it. But I've seen that kind of around. I think it's a cool thing. But again, I feel like in a way, unless I'm crazy, that we've seen that in the past, and it ends up not really being a big deal at all, because they pretty well by like the end of May, the guys are at 99 power or speed or whatever the context is that we're going for at that moment. All right, so we've tendered contracts. And select 40-man Jason Farley. Yeah, we definitely got some guys here that we need to join. So Farley needs to come on to the 40-man. Terrence Henderson. Do we just make him our closer here? 76 overall. I think I'm down to do that. J.R. Peterson is rock solid just in case somebody gets hurt. Juan Cordero, sure. Actually, how many people do I have on the 40-man? Right now we're at 1920. Okay, so I think we got some room. Do one. No. That's pretty much going to be it. So we're going to have plenty of guys to replace here. Among this path, maybe Carlos Hidalgo. I think he can come into the 40-man. Okay. All right, I think that's going to be it. A lot of these guys are just older that are of not any real importance. Let's take a look at the rotation. Let's put put him there. Put Matos in here. Let's put Diaz in here, and then I think let's put Giordano in here. That's already a pretty solid rotation. It maybe is not as great as what we have seen in the past, but obviously we are going to have some bullpen guys we're going to have to replace. Let's go ahead and move Mel Winters. Oh, he is not on the 40-man yet. So let's go ahead and move him up so I can put him in the bullpen. Damon Hand at this point, 22 years old. Brian Lucero is a guy we just drafted. We'll go ahead and just put him on the 40-man. Might put him on the roster. We're going to put Henderson up there. So winners. J.R. Peterson is already on the 40-man. Let's move him up. Joyce, move him up. Be a bullpen guy for us. Taylor Dollard at this point. In the bullpen. Just trying to fill out some of the bullpen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a 12-man. So you're looking for really one more guy in the bullpen. I think got a couple of lefties in here, so would like to add another lefty. And then from a lineup perspective, so Bryce Harper is gone. Who's the other player we have for here? Harry Ford, excuse me, might as well offer him. Arbitration. Taylor's been really good for us out of the bullpen. Okay. So now, who's the other? What am I missing here? So first base, catcher, second short, third base, DH, which was Bryce Harper, and then left field Duran. Okay. Guess let's kind of see what free agency is, because obviously that's the big thing. Is it's really hard to draft and develop offensive players. Something I've talked about in a bunch of these episodes. I don't want to keep talking about it. Montez at 27 could maybe play left field, because he could certainly play left field defensively and stuff. But is he ready to be an everyday bat? I don't really know about that. But pretty good, I think, pitching wise. I'm going to go after another lefty for the bullpen. Obviously, you're going to be relying on a lot of rookies here, but these guys are all well developed. I don't think there's really going to be many issues with any of these guys. Peterson with the clutch is maybe not great, but Dollard, Joyce, obviously, winners. There's a couple of guys here that could be really, really good for us. And I think this rotation is fine. So you're looking for a DH, unless we decide to go with Harry Ford for that. And at 29, he has had his moments. Hitting for sure, limited opportunities. We could probably do okay with this if this is what this turns out to be. I think I'd be fine with that, but we need to find an outfielder here for sure, as I'm not really planning on putting Montez out here. So you're looking for a bullpen guy and some kind of outfielder, one way or the other. So let's do a left-handed pitcher for sure. Relief pitcher being one of our needs. And then Roman Anthony is obviously a center fielder, would be the clear best player you can bring in this spot. Has developed pretty well. Has been a rival for us for Oakland in this series. Hold on one second. Give me just a second. We are back. Sorry. So obviously Anthony would be somebody super exciting to bring in. He came over there in the Lawrence Butler trade way back in season 1. Played his whole career with Oakland. Coming off of his best season so far in his career, he's already a 22 WAR player here at 27 years old. It's a really, really good player. I doubt he's going to want to come though, because I think it's going to affect him because of his the fact that we have Julio. I think it's going to be kind of difficult to sign him, but we'll add him to the list for right now. Looking for a lefty reliever, Alex Vesia, 35, coming up another great season. I think adding him makes a lot of sense. Let's see. not a lot other than bringing back somebody we've already had, which I'm not overly excited about. Randy Arozarena just continues to hit, dude. Like, look at how good he has been for the Angels, the Tigers, how good he was for us. Like, dude is sensational. I'm guessing there's not going to be a whole lot else available here. I mean, Morel's coming off of a solid season. Gives you some position flexibility, but is this Crater after he has maybe the best year of his career? Easily the best year he's had in this series. Kelnick was rock solid here. Obviously a pretty solid defender. Good against righties. Certainly more of a platoon player, but, I mean, coming off back-to-back 750-plus, OPS seasons, has largely been okay in this series, honestly. Okay. Really and truly, it's like, Reynolds been solid. He's 37, already cratered this year. That doesn't make a ton of sense. So really, it is, this is it's a really weak class in the outfield. So that's not particularly great. If we're looking at just guys to be with the DH, obviously you always want to kind of look at first base first. Josh Naylor, obviously Mariners legend in real life. Been really solid, 34. Less regression. Harper is going to tank here at age 30. I would be willing to guess maybe Naylor. At that point, do you just go Harry Ford, though, as your DH? You can keep Raleigh, and Raleigh, of course, is the MVP, so you want to keep him in the lineup and DHing them. Kind of can set that up in the lineups. They probably would both play largely every single day. I think honestly makes more sense than either one of these moves. Let's see, over like at third base, Alec Bohm at 35, just cratered against lefties there. Josh Smith, not much there. Yeah, this is it's a pretty weak class, honestly. Xavier Edwards with a really great year here. Thought about bringing him in a couple of years ago. He's been solid. Marcelo Meyer, okay, coming along pretty well in this series. Jordan Lawler. Why don't we, I might end up looking for a maybe DH on the trade market. Let's add a couple of relievers here. And just kind of see. So Garcia wants to come back here pretty bad. He was really good. So I think I'm actually just down to try to do that. Try to lock that up. We have a ton of money, obviously, because we had a ton of money fall off. I think you could make a splash here for Anthony. I don't know how you convince him to come in, but we'll give it a try. Because there's not really a whole lot else. I think going with the Harry Ford thing, keeping Raleigh's bat in all the time, I think is really solid. Then I think that, really, if we wanted to maybe add a couple of rotational guys or, a couple of bullpen guys, because I really want these young guys to pitch. Like, I really do. I want these guys to throw, and I want us to see them. Henderson. We could probably look at a closer. So let's actually come back here because I think we're going to be able to get Garcia back. We'll take Vesia off. And is there a closer by chance? Edwin Diaz at 37. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, let's try that. See what happens. I doubt that Roman Anthony is going to want to come at all. So then we'll have to pivot. We'll have to make a decision there, but we'll come to that when we come to that. I would be shocked, though, if he decides to have any interest in us other than us winning World Series titles. Just because of the position situation. Okay, Garcia did not decide to sign with us. Okay. But we want to stop simulating. Augustine Ramirez with a deal. Ohio Escobedo is the really good shortstop there for the Braves. They re-signed him. Okay. Russ Romero for the Diamondbacks, another pretty solid player. All right, let's come back here to free agency. Okay, so we can probably make a move here for Anthony. He has made 1 All-Star appearance, has won 2 Gold Gloves. Yeah, I mean, putting him in left field would be incredible. Coming off of a 6-4 season, he's been above 4 straight years. Yeah, I think we try to make this happen. So for this contract here, I'm all for essentially the same exact thing here to Garcia. I'm going to assume he is going to try to come in. Let's go ahead and try to bring in Edwin Diaz. For the one final last year push, we have so much money available, it does not overly matter. I'm going to overpay for Anthony if I get an opportunity to bring him in. We are going to be the Northwest version of the Dodgers in this situation. All right, let's see what we got here. Jordan Lawler signs a 7-year, $140 million contract with the Rockies. Coming off of a pretty subpar season, honestly. He was really good the year before, his first full year as a starter there. But certainly not a great outing there. Get some contract decisions here. See what we got. I think it's going to be Garcia signing, I would assume. It is somebody signing. And it is going to be Garcia who decides to come back on board. I think that's great. Really good for us last year. I think that makes a ton of sense. Edwin Diaz, we didn't get the big scene. And he decides to just come in with no fanfare. Okay. So we've got our closer. Henderson will be one of our setup guys. At least be a part of the bullpen. Yeah, Edwin Diaz, that's nice. Okay. Christian Javier goes to one of our big American League rivals throughout this series in Detroit, 3.75 ERA. Obviously last year, a 1-year deal for him. Kyle Teal signs a 5-year deal with the Guardians. So goes to an American League Central rival there after several really good years with the White Sox, including he's blossomed into one of the best catchers in baseball. 2-time All-Star, 1-time Gold Glover, coming off of a near 7 WAR season. This is one of the best players in the sport. Yeah, I mean, that is a huge year for a catcher. Okay. We're good on that. Yep. Now, let's just see. Now we're good on Mackenzie Gore. So we can officially offer Roman Anthony. Let's offer 7 for 36. Let's just see what the so we're going to get the boost for being the first one to offer him. Let's lock that in. There's not really anything else for us to do at this point. I'm okay with some of the young guys being our backups. Harry Ford and Raleigh will kind of be, catching and DHing at separate times here. Maybe just like a backup outfielder type. Unless we want to roll with a... I need somebody else that can play first, I think. So maybe a backup corner infield guy. Can Montez play first? Montez can't play first. Okay. So we'll just look for another, just kind of backup outfielder type, maybe. All free agents. Juan Rojas, really good elite defender. Just kind of tag that in there. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, okay. Roman Anthony. I'm going to max this out here. 7 years, $40 million. If he decides not to sign, he decides not to sign. I don't care about the competitive tax bonus. We won 3 straight World Series. I think he's going to come on in for that. It's a monster contract, by far the biggest one we've handed out in this series. And Roman Anthony is going to come in and play left field for us. Nice. Awesome. Heck yeah. Okay. So that's obviously the big off-season acquisition for sure. Now I think we just want to kind of look at maybe a guy like Rojas, who kind of let him just end up garnering some more experience. Yeah, we're good on pretty much everything else. I'm good with it. Marcelo Meyer, a big 7-year deal there. Jackson Holiday, just a 4-year deal for Holiday, who's developed into a pretty solid player. We ended up trading for Kobe Mayo, and that allowed Holiday to get more and more opportunities here heading into the 2028 season. He's been solid. Definitely more of a power hitter than the high average guy, but it's coming off of 3 pretty good seasons here back to back. Nice deal for him. Good. Dalton Rushing signs a 5-year deal there for the Braves. Okay. I don't think this has been one that Drake Baldwin has really overly developed. I don't even think he's a part of the team there, to be honest. Let's let that keep going. Kyle Bradish. Nice contract there. Nope. Good. I don't need anything else. It's all for 31. Just as a defensive backup, I'm okay with like a 2-year for $6 million a year. Oh, this is goodness gracious. No, I'm not. Yeah, we're not paying him $10 million a year to be a bench guy. Good on the lottery. It's not really going to have much of an effect on us at this point. Okay, so nice deal there for Mackenzie Gore. We're just going to let Rojas just sit there and get some more interest in us. Brian Wu signs with the Yankees, 2-year deal. Been a pleasure. Just a low-level trade here, or prospect trade with each other. Anyway, I guess I should say. Rojas is now up to 79%. See if we can offer like a 1-year, $8 million deal. See if he signs that. So well below his asking price, but that's another backup guy we can have in the outfield. He decides to come on. So yeah, I think at this point we're good. I don't really think there's anything else for us to talk about. Nope. Obviously, we built an exciting team. We had a bunch of money fall off. Letting the young guys just be our pitchers and just going from there. Because I definitely think that there was, certain aspects of that we could have really been able to do, I guess. I didn't even really look to see what the pitching options were, to be honest with you. So I think that's cool. All right, spring training. Did Rojas sign? I'm drawing a blank. Okay, Rojas did sign. Okay. So Anthony is, of course, going to act as our left fielder. I think against righties. Let's have Harry Ford. Actually, we'll have Raleigh be the starter there. And then Harry Ford there. But Ford will be the catcher against lefties. How do we want to do this? Lopez is 328 on base percentage. Would rather have something higher. I think just, who do you want to hit 3? I think something like that to just kind of start us off would be fine. What can get on base? Against lefties? We're okay with, we'll see how it plays out. Of course, the rotation, yep. Let's go ahead and let's send to the regular season, where we should again be, one of the best teams in baseball. So this is the way the computer decided to kind of go about this. I don't think I'm overly mad at this. Maybe we send, let's see. Let's send Lucero down. Bring Mel Winters, already up. Can I pull him up? Is he already part of the 40 man? No. Okay. We'll move Farley up here to be another guy out of the bullpen for us. They set up the lineup as Otto Lopez, Lars Nootbaar. You know what? We'll let the computer kind of handle this. All right, see what we got. So, obviously, a couple of really big starts here. Fix all. Swept the Braves. On our first 4 games of the season, obviously a really dominant stretch there already to begin. We're already at 6-2. A lot of quick simulating. Unfortunately, I do. Oh, okay. Struggling a little bit here. Okay, so not a great first month. Get to May with just a 17-14 record. Game out in the division. Okay, good starts for some of our star players here. Lopez is off to a 7-home run start in the first month of the season. Nootbaar. I like that on base a little bit higher, but we're still just a month into the season. Julio, really fast start for him. Raleigh, off to a bad start. Let's go ahead and just move him down. Because Roman Anthony having a really good start to his tenure here. Obviously signing that gigantic contract. Biggest one we've handed out. Raleigh is regressing heavily, which is what we worried about. Coming off of an MVP season. Okay. Kobe Mayo. Bad start. Adrian Ramirez, bad start. Cole Young, much better start. Doing really well here in the early going. John Simon is actually up playing left field. Oh, they're doing the... I forgot that we were doing that. We do not... I don't want Simon. Okay, hold on. Yep, I kind of forgot that we were trying to set this up a different way. So Anthony's going to be playing left. Ford can come in and DH there. Then Ford can DH there. Do we really want Montez against lefties? Over Nootbaar? No, we do not. Okay. That way Raleigh can stay in the lineup a good bit. See if Harry Ford, obviously not a great early start for him. See how that turned around though. Let's try to get through most of May here. Quick start to the month. Just a couple of lineup changes. Now struggling against Athletics. Golly. Big losing streak there in the middle of the month. Athletics trying to run away with this division. Let's get through. That's a nice, really nice finish to the month, though. Winning, 7 of our last 8. Just trying to do quick math there. Still a game and a half back. So Lopez still having a really good season. Lars Nootbaar continuing to be really good. Julio seeing regression at 31, but really having a strong start to this year. Anthony definitely struggled this month. Only hit 150 over his last 10. Still posting an 819 OPS. Cal Raleigh, big bounce back here. He's hitting 310. Just a 753 OPS, just 1 home run. But he's gotten the average up. He's hit 11 home runs. Back to, north of a 750 OPS is solid. Mayo is struggling. Ramirez showing some pop, but just never developed as a hitter. And I don't know what attribute is really dragging it down. I don't know if the contact, it being both of them being at 63, if that's just enough to bring down the vision and everything, but it is. Look at Cole Young becoming a absolute superstar. 28 years old, a 928 OPS. It's already hit 11 home runs, stolen 7 bases. It's already been worth 3 WAR, and we're in May. It's one of those things that's not going to show up for like awards. That is an MVP caliber guy here. Like Julio is in the conversation. JJ Weatherholt, look at him, 29 years old, having a real following up a big breakout campaign in 2031. Outstanding season there. Yeah, that Cole Young, that's crazy. Actually, have not looked at the rotation. So Bryce Miller's been solid. Eddie Mato's first year as a starter has not been great to this point. Okay. Giordano has not been great. Are they maybe pitching above their? No, he's not. Matos has been a little bit better than what his stats are showing. Martin Diaz has not been fantastic either. Okay, so the starting rotation is definitely a problem. Kirby is just dropping. At this point in time, do we just kind of switch it up? Give somebody else a chance to start? I'll always sling Winters in here for Kirby, who's now the most expensive. You know, Kirby's actually pitching well, so let's not do that. Let's take out. Take out Giordano for right now. Put Winters in there, see how he does. These guys out of the bullpen have been really, really good. Edwin Diaz has been a huge pickup for us as well. Okay, let's just see how this rolls for a little bit. Not a good start to the month. Sweeping Houston certainly helps, but yeah, this has been a... Okay, so we're finishing the month strong. 48-38 heading into July. All right, let's just kind of see where we stand now. Otto Lopez playing great. Lars Nootbaar, now you're starting to falter a little bit. Julio he's definitely hit that point here, you know, at age 31 where it looks like the offense is going to be a lot more consistent. Had a really good 2031 campaign. Having an MVP level start here to this season. Roman Anthony definitely solidifying himself in 899 OPS, 18 home runs. Cal Raleigh, really good player. Should be another all-star appearance for him. Kobe Mayo. Kobe's struggling. His contract has not been fantastic for us. Got off to a really hot start. We gave him the contract. He's been fine, you know. Obviously, he was good the first 3 years here. This was not a great 2031 campaign, but was still solid. He's taken a 100-point drop essentially here in his OPS. Adrian Ramirez up to an A potential, up to an 88 overall. He's hit 15 home runs, so he should hit a career high, you know, at that number. OPS. Cole Young comes back down to earth. You know, was out north of a 900 OPS, has a terrible month, but is up to an A potential. He's up to an 87 overall, but a really bad month for him there. Still putting together a great campaign. Harry Ford as the DH, not working out, so that's maybe not the step. Let's screw it. Let's try a little Cole Emerson action here. But then against lefties, Harry Ford can still play there. That way Raleigh, you know, can continue to get as much time with us as he can. Bryce Miller's been great. Matos. Winter still holding firm here as a starter. Had a blow-up outing against Kansas City, but okay. Diaz getting better. Kirby continues to pitch well. Giordano out of the bullpen. Not really doing a whole lot. This is the best bullpen we've had almost this entire series, it feels like. Let's go ahead and get through the All-Star game. Winning a bunch of games here. Don't care anything at all about the draft at this point. Who's playing in the home run derby? Who do we have here? Cal Raleigh again. 25 first half home runs. Charlie Connon is in that conversation as well. Good. Okay, let's see who we had making the All-Star team. No pitchers. Okay. Edwin Diaz does make it. Raleigh again makes it a catcher, just dusting everybody else. Hold on 1 second. Let me answer a text message. first base. Nobody there. Otto Lopez here at second base. Nobody at third. Man, Cole Young got off to that great start, but appears to be faltering a little bit. Thomas Cannon developing really well there for the Angels. Julio and Roman Anthony, so no major surprises there. Dylan Cruz makes it for the Yankees. Obviously, at this point, we're really just kind of focused on ourselves, but we're 4.5 games out here in the American League West. Man, this would be kind of crazy if we ended up not making the second best team in baseball. I guess the Dodgers would be first. Dodgers are 26. Who's the best team here? According to their rankings. Oh, the Tigers. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The Tigers are great. Yeah, we are not. That would be kind of crazy if the last year of this we don't make the playoffs. Obviously, we don't care anything at all about the draft picks and stuff. Okay, so good start. Really good start post All-Star break. Sweeping the first two teams. Split the series there with Houston. Win the series against the Mets. Chris McCullough, so decent little trade here. All right, so 65-46. Came out of the All-Star break really hot, playing really, really good baseball. Right now, it's still a game and a half out. We've won 7 of our last 10, though. We've now created some distance for ourselves in the wild card for what it's worth. Lopez, really, really poor month here, hitting just 182 over his last 10. Newbar's been fine still. Julio kind of sliding a little bit here. He's been pretty good over his last 10. Just had a bad start, I guess, to the month of July there. Roman Anthony, really blossoming. He's already hit 6 home runs post All-Star breaks. He was at 20. There, Cal Raleigh's hit 31 home runs. Here he comes again. Won an MVP last year, and right now is playing even better. Okay. Power's just gone for Kobe. I mean, hit 31 his first year here. Had another season at 29. He's only hit 8 so far this season. OPS is at least starting to climb. Ramirez is taking some big jumps this year. Up to 22 home runs. So Ramirez this is a breakout. I mean, this is the best year of his career, at least at this point. Fingers crossed he can hold on to this. Would love to see him get to like a 25, 27, 28 home runs, 15 stolen bases. I think would be incredible here at 24. You forget how young he is because he pretty much, almost came up immediately. Spent 1 year in the minors. But yeah, he has been really good. This is a guy that was a playoff MVP, a Gold Glove winner, Rookie of the Year. Cole Young still putting together a really solid campaign. He's crushing lefties apparently. Season is starting to stagnate a little bit though. And Colt Emerson, coming up at 26. Had 7 career bats coming into this season. Their top prospect in real life, but the game did not give him a whole lot of that feel heading into, this franchise, where he was pretty considerably below Cole Young as far as MLB readiness and everything, and he wasn't exactly like a high potential player like I think he is in real life. But it's been solid. I mean, 816 OPS. Kind of struggling right now, though, just a tad. Guys on the bench are not doing a ton here. 3 home runs for Montez, though. Looks like he's been fine. Rotation, so Matos is now sub-4 ERA. Winter still holding sub-4. Diaz has just been fine, but Kirby and Bryce Miller continue to be really solid. The bullpen just not blowing up. Hers is now struggling a little bit. So he's been pretty poor over his last 10 outings, but then Garcia and Edwin Diaz at the end have been really good. Let's get through August. Okay. So, really good beginning of August. And then kind of as we got to the halfway point, it started tanking here towards the end of it for sure. But we are in first place in the American League West. Now, the best ranked team in baseball. We've barely overtaken the Tigers for what it's worth. All right, let's see. Lopez continue to just put up a really solid campaign yet again. Newt Barr definitely is not providing much in the power department, but the on base and average are still okay. Julio, another fairly poor month, at least from his perspective, and he is struggling as of late, but still a really good campaign. Roman Anthony is one home run away here. We have to figure he's going to get one here in September. From a career high there, a 907 OPS, a 6.3 WAR. Got to think he's going to be the best year of his career here, essentially. Raleigh is closing in on a 7 WAR season. He won the MVP last year and has been 40 points almost better in OPS, better in average, little less in on base, but dramatically higher in slugging. Yeah, he's going MVP again. At 35 years old at catcher, an 83 overall, but 42 yaks for him. Kobe Mayo gets a little hot there with his power. So not a bad month for him. Ramirez, okay, he's back sub 800 OPS, but does have a career high in home runs. Bit of a lackluster month. Cole Young obviously puts together a pretty solid month. He's north of 800 OPS. And then Emerson, in 314, it's hit 2 home runs now. 22 walks against 29 strikeouts. He's getting on base at a really good clip, solid slugging, not a lot of home runs, but he's hit 20 doubles. So an 849 OPS, 20 doubles in 53 games is really, really solid. Rotation, look at Matos. Winters is definitely struggling now. Matos is definitely progressing for sure. Bullpen obviously does not have that great a month. Everybody's ERAs are pretty much up here for the most part. Let's get through September. Actually, before we do that, heading in, Cal Raleigh leading for MVP. Cal Raleigh is leading for MVP. He might go back-to-back, the big dumper. Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be something? He goes back-to-back while regressing. Anthony's also, of course, in the discussion. I think this is pretty much a Weatherholt Raleigh race here for that. Sure, I'll let the computer fix that. Okay. All right, we're going to cancel it here right before the last game of the season. Okay, so we've won the division. We are definitely not the best team in the American League, strictly from a win-loss perspective. Play the last one. All right, so we've won the division. We will be playing in the divisional series, though. Kind of take one last look here as what has happened here. Oh, they sent Newt Barr down? Yeah, we're going to add him back to the playoff roster. Move Simon down if that's what it takes. God dang it. Okay, everything else is pretty much the same. Yep, okay, we're good with this. All right, so regular season, Otto Lopez, solid, pretty much exactly the same as last year. Little bit worse on base, and that's kind of costing the rest of his stats. But did hit 15 home runs. That's rock solid. Newt Barr. They tried to take him off the playoff roster. We're not going to do that to Lars. Solid campaign, just not a lot of slugging left in his bat at this point, but the on base is okay. Julio, I mean, great first half, definitely faded a bit towards the second half of the season, but another 800-plus OPS season, another season he cracks 30 home runs, back-to-back years with over 100 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, 6.3 WAR season. It's really, really solid. I mean, it's an outstanding season. Roman Anthony, first year here, career high in home runs, career high in RBIs, cracks an 878 OPS. So, the best year of his career. And 6.8 WAR pretty much proves that. Cal Raleigh, 7.2 WAR season, 920 OPS, 49 home runs, 112 RBIs. He just won the MVP again. That's with 141 strikeouts. So if he put the ball in play, he mashed this year. Outstanding season. There's no doubt in my mind he won MVP. Yep. Back-to-back MVPs for the big dumper. Certainly making himself the player, I would say the player of the franchise now at this point. I don't really know how I can say any different than that. Kobe Mayo ends up with a pretty solid season, 18 home runs, a 757 OPS. Obviously would like a little bit more, but for a guy that we're paying at $11 million a year, nothing wrong with that. Ramirez cranks 28 home runs, gets 12 stolen bases, a career high in batting average, career high in on-base percentage, and a career high in slugging. So definitely a career best year for him. He's up to a 90 overall, 820 OPS. A 3-WAR player, Cole Young, puts up, ties his career high in home runs. Second most RBIs he's put up, 16 stolen bases, really solid. A 791 OPS is a new career high. He seems to be an even year player, which is great for him. A 5-WAR player, the best year of his career. Really solid. Colt Emerson comes up, gets a chance to just DH, where he's an excellent defender as well. And, hits 5 home runs, 29 doubles, 7 stolen bases, hits 322 with a 393 on base percentage, a 502 slugging season. Something about his attributes are working, that's for sure. He's been outstanding. Arroyo was not great coming off the bench this year. Definitely a big slide from what he was the year before. Harry Ford, I guess, proves that he probably would have been fine as a DH for us, but not, an outstanding player. Celestine in limited opportunities is just not hitting at all. And then Montez, not hitting much there either. Rotation, Bryce Miller, really good. Cannot send Bryce Miller down, guys. I know that he is, regressing way heavier than he should be. Who do we want to take out of this? Lucero, I think, is who we're going to do. I'm going to go with a 5-man rotation. Come on. All right. Bryce Miller was rock solid this year. Obviously, we're no longer seeing the heights of, a peak Miller that won a Cy Young, finished second, finished top 3 multiple times, 3-time All-Star. That peak is certainly over for him. Eddie Matos comes in, first year starter, gets off to a really rough start, but finishes extremely strong, over 200 innings, a 3.34 ERA, 181 strikeouts. Mel Winters started off as a bullpen guy, and with the struggles of Giordano, Winters gets a chance to become a starter. The second, about the third of the way through the season. Really good. Martin Diaz definitely struggled as a starter here for sure, but he's up to an 86 overall. George Kirby, despite the attribute drops, puts up yet another just rock solid campaign. Giordano throws a bunch of innings, got 12 starts, was not great. Jim Flowers was really good and just 12 innings of work. Jason Farley, 28 innings of work, was really good. Troy Taylor continues to be a force out of the bullpen for us, eats up a ton of innings. Terrence Henderson gets his first little cup of coffee. He's made the postseason roster. Just okay, though. DJ Hers, second year here was solid. Garcia, second year here was outstanding. In 84 innings, 15 holds. 1.59 ERA. And Edwin Diaz comes in, obviously sucked it up in the back half of the year because he was one of the best pitchers in baseball just 2 months ago. The closer roll strikes again. Let's see. Again, we're just kind of looking just at our guys. So obviously, Cal Raleigh wins MVP. Matos finishes third for the Cy Young. Okay, nothing there. Nothing for Rookie of the Year, which makes sense. Cal Raleigh wins the Hank Aaron Award. Man, what a job. Cal Raleigh second for Gold Glove. Ramirez third for Gold Glove. Lopez second for Gold Glove. Cole Young second for Gold Glove. Roman Anthony is winning the Gold Glove, so they probably would have each won a Gold Glove if I'd have just changed Roman Anthony to a left fielder. But Anthony grabs one. Okay. Silver Slugger. Cal Raleigh, of course, makes a ton of sense. Roman Anthony gets one, and Julio gets one. So both of our guys there. Yeah, which is dope. Now we're in the postseason. See what we got. This could be it. And it is. All right. So, wow. Ends pretty unceremoniously there. Got put out by the Athletics in 2 games, and that's going to do it for the series. I think we're good. I think we've kind of accomplished what we wanted to. Obviously, we accomplished way more than I could have really hoped for us to accomplish. The Padres win the World Series. They sweep Baltimore. Baltimore was really good. I mean, getting through a 3-1 Oakland, or not Oakland, but the Athletics, and then a 4-1 to Boston. Then they get 4-0 themselves. The Padres struggled with Cincinnati and then went to 7 with Chicago, but the National League, I guess, was just that much better than the American League this year. But that's going to do it. I'm not going to do another season. Just kind of broadly speaking, let's just kind of think about this. So Bryce Miller, obviously an incredible, guy, right? Like, just sensational in this series. Won a Cy Young, a 3-time All-Star, all in this series. Missed a season with a torn labrum, I believe it was. And, bounce back was really good. He had one bad year, right? 2030 is the only bad year he had. Otherwise, he was sensational. He was great in year 1. Outstanding. The best pitcher in baseball in year 2. Won a Cy Young. Really, really good. The next year, gets hurt in the World Series. Only throws 1 game, and it was 8 innings of shutout ball in 2028 in the season we didn't make the playoffs. 2.8 ERA the next year, and they kind of struggled, but overall really put together a solid overall campaign. George Kirby throughout this series, really good. Another guy that's hard to really complain a lot about. Maybe never reached the heights I would have thought outside of this 2028 season when he really carried that rotation without Bryce. But it was a year we didn't make the playoffs, so it kind of doesn't quite give it that same feeling. Kirby was a borderline Cy Young candidate during that stretch. Never made an All-Star team somehow, in this series as we produced so many of them. But you're looking really at one bad year, 1 year north of 4 ERA with the 2029 season. Otherwise, Kirby was worth every dollar that we spent on him. As far as guys that we were able to see blossom, like Eddie Matos comes up, and a guy that we drafted in the first round back in year 2, really looks like he's going to be a really solid major leaguer. I mean, made 33 starts, 200 innings, 3.34 ERA. I think we did a nice job developing him. Diaz, I think, a guy that if we were to keep pushing this series, I think would be really solid. Still would have 3 years of team control with him, but obviously a little disappointing there. Giordano was definitely disappointing. Mel Winters came up and did well, but you see how we develop these pitchers, and pitching is obviously the big thing that you get in the draft. It's a lot easier to do that, but Matos at 24 is an 88 overall. This is one of the premier young pitchers in baseball. Diaz up to an 86. Winters an 85 at 22. Again, another premier young pitcher in baseball. Damon Hand, a guy that we did not get to see, but a lefty that, I think you could easily throw into the rotation next year and be really, really good as a replacement for Kirby. Flowers, another young, good pitcher. Farley. We did a really nice job, I think, of drafting and developing pitchers. Not so much with the bullpen, to be completely honest with you. I mean, Henderson at this point is probably ready to be your starter. Only ended up with 8 games, though, at the major league level. Harry Ford is technically, showing his first at catcher, but let's not kid ourselves. The big dumper, 2 MVP awards, man. 2 MVPs, the Hank Aaron Award, 4 All-Star games, 2 Gold Gloves, only 1 in the series for what it's worth. 4 Silver Sluggers, World Series MVP, Home Run Derby champion, All-Star Game MVP, home run champion of the American League in 31 and 32, so the last 2 years of the series. he was a guy that when we started, like, right, year one was not great. I mean, solid for a catcher, right? But then he had a great year two. Then kind of fell apart again in year three. Once we got to year four, I mean, this is one of the best players in baseball. Ends it with a 5-year stretch of at least 30 plus home runs, really at least 33. But then ends up hitting 40 home runs and then 49 home runs in his 2 MVP seasons. Got over that 100 RBI threshold these last 2 years as well. Just outstanding player. I mean, back-to-back MVPs pretty well speaks for itself. And this was the last year, of his contract. It's the last year of the series, and he ends it in gigantic fashion. Never hit, 50, but 49 home runs is outstanding. Adrian Ramirez, the first draft pick that we had, picked him at number 3 overall. Way back in season 1, and at 24 years old, he's a 90 overall first baseman. I would say still relatively a glove first, but had a really nice year this year. And, at the plate, and it's really starting to even that stuff out. An 820 OPS, you're starting to get into really, really good territory. Probably the best first baseman in baseball. If I had to wager a guess, at 90 overall, he'd be all over it. If we get a point where I can search, is that a thing I can do right now? Cannot, right? Because that's under that. Cannot search it. I guess what I could do is just kind of quickly click through everybody. Of course, it's going slower than it needs to for no reason. So Vlad, okay, so he's not the best first baseman in baseball, but one of the best first basemen in baseball. He elite defender, played the outfield, played right field for us, a lot during his tenure, but finally moved over to first base, one of the best ones in baseball. Outstanding. Finally developed Colt Emerson. It took us forever to get here, but obviously had a chance to really blossom. Second base was a position we played, Jorge Polanco, Brandon Lau, finally Otto Lopez. Lopez was a really good signing for us. Would still, in theory, have another year to go with him. But has been solid here for 3 years. But good to see Colt Emerson develop. Kobe Mayo was kind of the big third baseman purchase for us. Went out and traded for him with Gary Valencia. We sent him one of our other draft picks from way back in year one. Valencia turned into one of the best pitchers in baseball. So that really worked for them, but it allowed us, to have a third baseman that we felt good about and didn't really have to worry about. But yeah, I mean, Valencia won a Cy Young. Again, a guy that we drafted, traded him, and it was a little bit of a rough start, but really blossomed into one of the best pitchers in baseball for Baltimore. So feel really good about what we ended up doing with that as well. So we did a nice job there, kind of finding a guy. Cole Young, man, look at the development. Up to an 88 overall, 28 years old. Took him a while to make the Major League roster, but once he got here, he never left. 2 pretty poor seasons, but then 2 really, really good ones. As our starting shortstop. Went from J.P. Crawford to him. So shortstop was never really a position we overly worried about. Something I'm really happy with. Royo definitely just kind of got stunted right at that high 70 mark. Obviously, he's a high C potential guy. It just kind of is what it is. But got off to a really good start. Looked like he was going to be maybe our future shortstop of the franchise at one point in time in this series. But then just never really developed anymore. John Simon's a guy that we drafted in round 2 way back in season 1. You kind of see what the development is. Never really grew past the power. I don't know that his power grew at all this entire series for what it's worth. We got his contact and stuff up to a decent number, but he just really kind of got hamstrung by, bad fielding to start and bad contact to start. And then the power never blossomed like I hoped it was going to where his power compensated enough for him. Maybe he would be a DH type. It just never happened, and that happens. Roman Anthony, obviously, we just signed him for the 1 year. What a 1 year that it was. Jaron Duran was a guy that was great in this series, another Red Sox player in real life. Was really, really good for us for 1 year, but, you're looking at Randy Arozarena was good for a large portion of this year. We had Jesse Winker for a large portion as our DH, was an outstanding player for us. Had Nolan Jones, was good for a couple of years, kind of ended up being our number 3 hitter and was really solid. But Roman Anthony, the 1 year we had him, was great. We're going to come back to Julio, don't worry. Right field, Lars Nootbaar for a large portion of this series. Was really solid. Obviously, we had Adrian Ramirez play right field for us, Alec Burleson. now I'm drawing a blank on who the lefty's name was that hit so well for us. Is already, I mean, he's a real life a player that plays for them in real life right now. Oh, drawing a blank. This is kind of the bad thing about doing things live. Hold on. Give me just a second. Just a second. This guy that ended up playing a lot of first base for us as well, between him and Ramirez, kind of going back and forth. What is his name? Luke Raley. Played a lot for us, had a lot of really good moments. But this kind of ended up being the Lars Nootbaar show. And of course, I guess we'll end things off with Julio. I would say that Raleigh is the player of the franchise. Winning 2 MVPs. I don't think he was nearly as consistent as Julio. Like, Julio's bad years were definitely still better than Raleigh's, worst years. But, Julio at this point in time is 31 years old. He's hit 300-plus home runs, racked up 61 WAR. This is a Hall of Fame player. He made the All-Star team every single year of the series, won a Silver Slugger 3 times in the series, a World Series MVP, a playoff MVP. Really, really great player. I think pretty much went this entire series as the best center fielder in baseball. Plenty of just gargantuan seasons here. Never slipped below 5 WAR by the time we got to year 3, with the majority of those years being, north of 6. Outstanding player. Pretty much was exactly what I hoped he would be. Would have liked for some of these more down years to be a little bit better. Obviously, would have liked for him to be above 800 OPS. But considering the first 2, especially year 2, where it looked like maybe, he was going to be a guy that was a 750-ish OPS guy, really blossomed. Was great the latter half of it. And obviously, we won a ton of World Series, had one section of going back-to-back, and then won 3 in a row heading into this year. For what it is worth, we did a lot of really good things here in this series, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I think Seattle was a really good jumping point for me in doing a series on YouTube. Obviously, they did not create the biggest challenge because there's a lot of money that they can bring in. You already have a lot of really good players, even though Cal Raleigh, was just the best catcher in baseball versus being one of the 10 best players in the world, heading into the series. But, between him and Julio, a really good starting rotation. Like, there was not a whole lot to fix, at least from that standpoint. And then you just continue to have really good years with guys like Jorge Polanco, Luke Raley, J.P. Crawford. You're going out and getting guys like Kobe Mayo, Jaron Duran, Lars Nootbaar, Jesse Winker being such a massive part of this series to begin. Really always kind of working around the struggles of the bullpen, I would say, after year 2. The bullpen was always kind of a struggle, especially that closer role. Was just never consistent with us. Once Munoz kind of lost it, we've really had a hard time figuring that out. But I think that this series was really good for me to do something on the channel. And I had a blast with it. I really had a lot of fun. So if you're still here at this point, you're listening, you kind of know that if the channel grows, the channel grows. This is not like a full-time job for me. I don't think it's ever going to be a full-time job for me. It's just, I like playing MLB The Show. I like playing sports games. I've always just kind of documented, what I do. And, always did that like on a Word document or in Excel sheets and everything. And to me, this is just a lot easier way to do that. Now, it comes with some expectations of people wanting to, comment and having maybe having some disagreements or don't like the way maybe certain things are going. Maybe I made this series a little too easy by starting with such a good team, and maybe I took too long to, make things more difficult. But I think we're in a really good point now, heading into MLB The Show 26, or maybe I can just kind of rotate these sliders to, straight into that. We're going to go with a more challenging team for 26, and I think that's going to be, a really good thing. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm incredibly excited about it. I'm recording this, a couple of weeks before MLB The Show comes out. I've already got it pre-ordered. I'm going to get it a little bit early, so on and so forth. So we're going to jump right into that. The day it comes out, I'll be jumping into a franchise. I got to get like the Japanese players and stuff together. But, if you watch this series and you enjoyed it, I appreciate it. The introduction to this is the most viewed episode that I have on my channel, period, among all my series. And, it's one of the, if you search MLB The Show franchises, there's been enough views and videos and stuff that it does pop up there with the big heavy hitters, of this platform, at least in this niche that I'm in. So yeah, it's been fun, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed. Um, Kind of seeing the up and downs, seeing the experiences of watching guys that we drafted grow and become, some of them at least, becoming foundational pieces for us. But that's going to do it for me. Signing off for the Seattle Mariners franchise, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you on MLB The Show 26. Check out my other work as well. And thank you. Until next time. Peace.